Mike McMahon, and I'm thrilled to have some really special guests here with us to make a wonderful announcement about some support that we have from some great heroes and their leaders in New York City. So
today's an important day for New York City police officers. We're in tough economic times, and we're also in a time when we have to be aware of the real threat of terrorism and even traditional crime. And to do that, you need a strong police department, but you also need partners in government that understand law enforcement. Mike McMahon is that person, understands the trials and tribulations of New York City police officers. He lends an ear when we ask him to support the things that we need to keep this city safe. So in the PBA, we give out endorsements, but in reality, this endorsement was earned by Mike McMahon over the years of support he's given each and every member of the New York City Police Department, which helps us help you. It's an honor.
Thank you.
And on behalf of Mike Palladino, our president, we definitely endorse Mike McMahon. And it's a great pride for me, being a resident of Staten Island and a former member of the Marine Corps, former vet, to endorse Mike. So, Michael,
thank you.
Great job.
Good morning, Chris Monahan, Vice President of the Captain's Down Association. We represent the Captains or Chiefs of the New York City Police Department. And I'm going to go back to Mike McMahon today as a city councilman who would give us the tools necessary to bring the historic crime drop in New York City. Especially being a constituent, being a resident of Staten Island, I appreciate what he's done many years ago, which seems like we forget when he goes down to Washington, but we haven't forgotten as a law enforcement community. We appreciate what he's done with the James Droga bill. He's fighting down there every day, every night for us, and we appreciate that. And it's a very important bill for us. We have sick people, and I know you're going to help us when moving into the Senate. We appreciate it. Captain.
Good morning. I'm Tom Sullivan. I'm the president of the Lieutenants Benevolent Association. I represent over 5,100 active and retired lieutenants and their families. We're here today to endorse Mike McMahon for Congressman. Mike's record speaks for himself. He's a champion of the working class, the middle class. What he's done out here in Staten Island, whether it was for the veterans, or the senior citizens, or the police and fire, he's one of our champions. As was pointed out before, we have still many sick members who are looking for relief with the passage of this Droga bill. So we appreciate everything Mike has done and is doing to get this Droga bill passed. During these 2010 elections, you hear many candidates tell you how government is broken. Well, anyway, we look to Mike McMahon to fix that broken government, and we're proud to support him.
Here. But let me just say how thrilled I am to have the support of New York's finest. When I go down to Washington and talk about the community that I represent, I talk about New York's finest. People think you're from New York City, you're from Manhattan, or more urban areas. Out here in Staten Island and Brooklyn, it's not only the place that these guys keep safe every day, but it's where they live. So it's not only members of New York's finest who support me today, but it's my friends and neighbors and people who live in Staten Island and Brooklyn. And that's what means so much to me. As was mentioned, one of the great accomplishments that we've gotten was to get this Droga bill through the House of Representatives. It's the first big step. We did have Senator Gillibrand here the other day to talk about how we're going to get it through the Senate when we go back in November. When I ran in 2008, I made a commitment to do everything I can to get that bill through. And we hammered away, and as the freshman whip of my class, I was able to deliver every freshman member but one from the Democratic Party to vote for that bill. I also want to talk about the National Blue Alert Bill, which I recently introduced into the House of Representatives, that will set up an Amber Alert type of system that as soon as a police officer is injured or worse, that alert will go up to capture the person who did that, so that immediately there'll be a region-wide, hopefully a nationwide manhunt that will make sure that anyone who injures a police officer has to be captured and prosecuted under the law to the full extent. And that's something that we're proud of as well. We also, in the Recovery Act and Emergency Jobs Bill, included money for New York City, and in that there's money to allow for police officers to stay on the job. As you know, we were threatened with layoffs, and now, because of the money we provided from Washington, we're not doing that. I have been an original sponsor of the COPS funding, which has been something that is also always on my mind, that the federal government has to do more in terms of hiring and retaining police officers for the city of New York. When it comes to Homeland Security dollars, to give them the tools that they need, I will continue to be a champion on their behalf. Because at the end of the day, what my service in office is about these brave men right here, the men and women of New York City's finest, and their families, who every day have to be worried when they put on their uniforms and go out to do their jobs at a moment's notice. They can be just sort of ordinary people called to do extraordinary things. We learned on 9/11 how many of those walk among us and live among us here in Staten Island and Brooklyn. I'm thrilled to have their support, honored to have their support, and I will work hard every day as we go through this campaign and into the next Congress to make sure that I am worthy of it. I'm truly humbled and grateful. Thank you. Thank you.